All right, we are live in the Builders Group. How's it going, Bill?
Doing great, AJ. How you doing down there in Puerto Rico?
Dude, awesome, man. Awesome. How you doing where you are?
Down in Florida, loving it. We're really enjoying ourselves here.
Yeah, that is a beautiful spot. Seeing your house I guess this past spring was super cool, man. You got a beautiful place down there.
Thanks, man.
Super nice. So as you guys are hopping on, feel free to post questions in the comments, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of get started. So Bill, first of all, just give everybody who may not be familiar with who you are, just a quick 1 minute background on your real estate career, then maybe why you joined eXp.
Okay, so before real estate, I was an entrepreneur. I owned 3 Subway sandwich shops in Connecticut. I opened up a nightclub. I opened up an Irish pub. Moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. I opened up 6 fitness centers. And at one time, I had about 200 employees. And I decided, enough, and sold everything, got my real estate license. I always had a passion for real estate, and that was back in '06. Really started my career in '07. Went with a very large company called Allen Tate in North Carolina. And then I switched over to Keller Williams for a better split. And then after that, I went to a discount program where it was only $400 a transaction. I kind of felt disconnected, saw the eXp culture, and I decided to switch my career to eXp, and I'm glad I did. It's the best decision I've made in my real estate business.
So when you were at, say, Allen Tate, Keller Williams, and then the discount broker or the transaction fee-based company, what was your production like?
So, when I first started out, total transparency, like my first 6 months, I had 1 sale. I'm like, what am I doing, right? Then I just started doing more homework, decided to set some goals and have a path to where I wanted to go. And then it started taking off. The next 6 months, I did about 5 million. So that helped. The last 5 years, AJ, I've averaged right about $20 million a year in closed volume. I looked yesterday, the last 8 years, I've averaged 50 closings per year. I had a goal back in 2011 when the market started to turn that I wanted to try to see an attorney once a week, which was we're going to closing once a week. So I would have a paycheck once a week. So that was my goal.
I love that. So, you must have a huge team doing that kind of volume, I'd imagine.
Nope, just me. Matter of fact, I just started a team for the first time about 4 months ago. So that production was me on that hamster wheel, just churning, just working a lot of hours.
Yeah, I wanted to make that point just because I know there's some agents who have the limiting belief that they're too busy to focus on agent attraction and that just don't have enough time for it. And you were doing that type of volume, those types of transactions while building this group of over 900, almost 1,000 agents now. So cool, man. So when did you join eXp? Must have been 3-4 years ago?
2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
So that's pretty good growth. So you went from an individual agent to, it looks like behind you, 961 agents in 2.5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my 2.5 year anniversary was January 1. So things are going well. You just have to make time. Agent attraction is just like selling houses. You have the time. If you put in the time, you'll be successful at it. So I just try to balance the time and do both.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk, just because we're focusing on agent attraction for this call, I want to give a little backstory on who you are and your real estate career. And let's dive into agent attraction now. So I think it's safe to assume that when you saw the agent attraction model, you saw the revenue share model, that was the number one reason why you joined eXp. Is that right?
Yeah, you could say that. Absolutely.
Cool. So day one, you join eXp. What were your thoughts? What kind of goals did you have about agent attraction? How were you going to go about doing it? And maybe how has that changed now?
It was pretty simple. I sat down with my wife and I said, listen, I feel that I can definitely attract 5 agents over in the first year. And we all know they're worth about $2,800 a piece, as long as they sell about $2.5 million in sales. And I said, honey, what I also can do is I can help them attract 1 agent. And they're worth about $3,200, right? So I looked at that. I said, I attract 5 capping agents. They all attract 1. That's just 10 capping agents. It's an extra $2,500 a month. And that's how I viewed it. And I said, if I can duplicate that, AJ, 5 years in a row, then I could be, making an extra $10,000 to $12,000 a month in this model. I said, I'm all in. Did I think it would happen in 6 months? I thought it would be 5 years.
Right. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Really what you discovered is that the highest and best use of your time was no longer selling houses. It was now building a real estate company, just like Gary Keller, Dave Liniger, founder of Remax.
Right.
And what's cool about our model, we can do that while growing a company. We don't have to say, no, we're done selling houses. We say, no, we're still going to sell a bunch of real estate like you have these past 2.5 years and build a company. But eventually, you're buying yourself that freedom to do what you want at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And my model has changed now. I started a real estate team about 4 months ago. So now what I'm doing, I'm helping them become agents. I'm helping them become better agents.
Yeah.
I'm taking a lot of the houses that I would have sold and sprinkling it down to them, and kind of tutoring them, mentoring them along. And at the same time, it's a twofold. I'm building my organization at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So the volume is there, just spread out differently. And you really start to feel like, okay, you have a different purpose, right? You're building this organization, and at the same time, you could help other agents change their lives. And I never had that option before.
Exactly. So I've seen, over the past couple of years, you just crushed it with events and lunch and learns. So I get the question all the time because, agents all around the nation have seen the success that have taken place in Charlotte. And they want to replicate that. They want to learn how to do a lunch and learn. Like if you were a new agent to eXp, knowing what you know now, what would be like, walk us through the steps to do a successful lunch and learn? Like, what are the key points that make it so successful?
Sure. Well, the first thing is you need a few other players. It's very hard to start a lunch and learn just by yourself. And at the time, I had about 4 other guys, Rich, Tom, Bob, and Terrence, and we started lunch and learn together. And we all took turns doing the presentation. 3 of us would do it every week, but we did it consistently, AJ, every week. And what's really important, make sure you have 3 or 4 players that are willing to help you with the lunch and learn, which means they're going to help invite agents to that lunch and learn. It's important to get people in seats, right, to see the presentation. When you have those 3 or 4 leaders helping you, you're going to have 10 or 12 people at a lunch and learn. Make sure you also do it consistently, which is once a week or at least every other week. And then also make sure you pick a venue that's very easy to get off of, like pretty much right off the highway, 3 or 4 miles off the highway. And also a venue that has good parking, because all of a sudden if you have 20 people at a lunch and learn, you have to have an additional 20 spots in that parking lot. Our first one that we did was at a country club. We used one of their meeting rooms that held about 30 people, and it worked out well because they had a parking lot for 300 people. If you try to do it in a small restaurant and it only has parking for 20, you're going to be hard pressed for parking after a while. But it's 3 or 4 leaders. They're going to help you do the lunch and learn. You're going to use the eXp presentation that's provided for you, and you're going to invite everyone to it. You're going to send out a professional evite about 10 days beforehand, and you're going to send it out about every 3 days to remind people. And then the night before, you're going to text the people that you personally invited to remind them. As realtors, we all get busy about the lunch and learn tomorrow, and you'll remind your leaders to text everyone and remind them about the upcoming lunch and learn the next day.
Exactly. Those are all great tips. And one of the things that was super cool for me, because, I got involved with those with you early 2018 when my organization was around 180 agents at the time.
Yeah.
And what it personally did for me and what I observed for, all the other leaders involved was that it created such a good synergy in the group and this excitement about building your revenue share. And it started to grow this amazing culture there in the Lake Norman area. And I feel like agents who are maybe isolated a little bit in these new markets that are developing, they don't ever start like a local leadership team, and they always stay on this island, and they really struggle because of that. So, everyone thinks, it's easy to see lunch and learns are great for agent attraction. Like you're putting people in seats to see the presentation. Yeah, that's great. And that's the intended purpose. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is the retention for agents who are already in eXp, just being around all the leaders, being around all the excitement, and then just having, eXp agents that you recruit catch the vision for the first time by being in your energy, So that's been pretty cool to see roll out as well.
And, AJ, I tell people all the time, so many people come aboard, they want agent attract. I was like, before you do that, treat agent attraction like going on a listing appointment. AJ, if you had a listing appointment, what would you do? You would make sure you ran all the comps. You would drive by the house. You would know the community really well. So when you sat down for that listing appointment, they would see you as an expert in the community to get that listing, correct?
Yep.
So same thing with agent attraction. You have to sit down and plug into the system. You have to educate yourself on the eXp model. And once you take the time to educate yourself, and that's not just watching videos, that's going to lunch and learns on a weekly basis to educate yourself. That's going on Zoom calls once a week. The more you hear the presentation, the more you can educate yourself about the process. So once you're educated, what happens? You develop a really good belief system, right, in yourself. You feel that you're qualified to share this benefits of eXp. Educate yourself. You develop a belief in yourself. And then when you're at that point, you will have confidence. Yep. You build confidence in yourself. And then what happens? People will see that you are an influencer. So when you educate yourself, you develop belief in the system, you build your confidence. When you walk in for that listing appointment, you're a very confident person. And those sellers realize that, and they have confidence in you that you can go get their house sold. Same thing with agent attraction. The agent that you're sitting in front of, you better come across very knowledgeable about the benefits of eXp, why they should come over, and you better be confident the whole time explaining the model. And that's how you become an influencer and good at agent attraction.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because you just nailed it. The reason why people don't take action with agent attraction is because they don't have the confidence. And how do you get the confidence? It's from going to lunch and learns. It's learning your skills. It's so funny. Agents will invest money, their own money, to buy Zillow leads. They'll practice scripts and dialogues. They'll practice a buyer presentation, listing presentation. They'll do professional photography. They'll have all this money and time invested in a seller or a buyer, 20 plus hours.
Sure.
But they expect to call an agent who can completely change their life forever financially and just expect like magic to happen. And they call 5 and none sign up and they're like, oh, this doesn't work for me. But they didn't even practice anything, it's like, it's just crazy to me. So I'm glad you made a point to say that. So
AJ, you had me read a book, Building Empire by Brian Carruthers.
Yeah.
And in the book, he has an example. He's like, a rhinoceros, a rhino has very hard skin, like the toughest skin of any animal. And you only see birds pecking away on its shoulders. The rhino doesn't even, shudder, doesn't even feel it, right? So you have to do the same thing, right? I mean, I get told no all the time. It doesn't matter because I realize I'm actually sitting down with that person and giving them a great opportunity. And if they don't see the benefit, they will eventually. It's not anything I'm trying to sell or pitch. It's actually opportunity that, hey, something? This is the best opportunity for any real estate agent in the country. You should absorb this, take a look at it, and you'll be thanking me in the future when you actually do make the move and come over to eXp.
Yep, exactly. So let's draw this out. How many people would you say you've personally spoken to about eXp, like for your personal recruits?
I would say 100.
So you've personally spoken to 100 people, and how many said yes?
46.
And now your organization is at 961. And if you
Correct.
guys know anything about our model, that's a lot of money a month. Like knowing what I know now, I would go out and speak to 100 people tomorrow. Over 2.5 years, Bill spoke to 100 people. And I say my number's 200. So it's how many weeks is that? That's 104. It's I don't know. It's less than a person a week.
Right.
And your family's life financially is forever changed. Your grandchildren's lives are forever changed because of the wealth you're building through revenue share. And it's only from talking to 100 people. That blows my mind.
Yeah. I mean, how many people, if I sold AJ, close to 600 homes in my lifetime, how many people did I speak to get those 600 houses sold?
Yeah.
How many people did I advertise to, right? How much money have I spent on magazine ads and Zillow ads and, farming and open houses to get those sales?
Yep.
So it's just a matter of doing it and putting in the time. Listen, I'm guilty of it too. A lot of times I'll be busy helping my downline or selling real estate. And I'll be like, wow, I didn't talk to an agent this week,
Mm-hmm.
So even myself, I have to get back, look in the mirror and say, okay, I got to hold myself accountable. I dropped the ball this week. I didn't go call 5 agents. I didn't sit down with an agent with a Zoom call or lunch alone. Or I didn't meet an agent at Starbucks face to face. That's my bad. It's not because eXp is failing me. It's because I'm failing my growth in my organization.
Exactly. I mean, it's just crazy. And not only would your income through rev share is residual, like you can really take the foot off the gas at this point and your income's going to keep going up. You do that in your real estate business, you stop spending all that money on advertising for your farming and stuff like that, your income stops. Maybe
Right.
some referrals will come in, but you got to work those referrals still,
Yeah, perfect example. So, every year in September, we go away to Europe, and we're usually gone for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I get a little stressed out, AJ, because I haven't been home meeting with potential listings. I haven't been home meeting with buyers, taking them around. Because I know if I go away September 1st, September 15th, my commission checks are going to be what in November? They're going to be low. They affect me about 2 or 3 months later. What's great with the rev share is, I went away this year, and my rev share in September and October were within a couple grand of each other. Like nothing changed. It was the same. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great peace of mind knowing that I could be on vacation and look at my rev share and say, wow, it's still growing. I'm still making money. Things are great.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I always say it to people because, we talk to a lot of agents, and a lot of agents who partner with us, they're excited about eXp. They're excited about the revenue share. And then a lot of them don't ever take the action to change their lives. And I share this with some people, mostly with the ones who are close to me who will take it the right way. But it's like, there's going to be a group of us, and it's already happening, but let's just say now or in a couple of years from now, there's gonna be a group of us who are just living these amazing lifestyles, like lifestyles that we could have only imagined, and having all this freedom, all this time to spend with our families, all this extra income to help others and to just live these amazing lives. And today, everyone on this call and who's going to watch the replay, they have the choice today where they can be there for themselves and with us, as opposed to sitting on the sidelines and just watching it all happen. And we know it's a fact at this point because we have the systems, we have the processes, we have the training and skills to share with our agents that if they do the work, it will happen. It might not be 100 people that they talk to accomplish what you have. You went after the whales. You went after good producers for the most part. And so results will vary. But if you do the work for the next 2-3 years, there's no reason why you can't be on a call with Bill and I 2-3 years from now, and your organization be at 1,000.
No.
So what would you say, Bill, to a new agent with eXp who's excited about revenue share? Like where should they start?
Okay. Once again, once that new agent educates themselves and they know the benefits of eXp, they can explain the benefits. So they develop that inner belief and confidence. That's when they can start approaching agents. And I realize they don't know a lot of agents. So, easy thing is go to open house. Go to open house, say hi to an agent. Do not talk about eXp. Get their card. You give them your card. And then a couple days later, so they don't forget you, say, hey, Bob, I met you at the open house the other day. I'll keep your house in mind. Hey, would you mind if we get together for a cup of coffee? Like to talk about the iBuyer program. Just got into real estate. Could use your advice. And they'll usually meet you for coffee. And eXp will just organically come up, because you start talking about the different companies you're with. Also, any real estate event, right, you can go to meet other agents. Or how about even builders have events all the time. Go to a builder event. Mortgage events all the time. I got one of my best agents, Susan McCain, met her at a lending event. And, there's a bunch of realtors there. So there's so many different options as an agent that you can get in front of agents. You just have to put yourself out there, put in the time. Obviously, any social networking event that has realtors in it, you should belong to it.
Exactly. So what you're saying is there's a lot of ways to find agents to speak with.
Sure, absolutely.
I just had a great conversation with an agent yesterday, and he'll be partnering with us. And this is the mindset of a lot of agents, and they're like, well, I'm a newer agent, or I don't know a lot of agents, so I'm going to wait till I sell more houses so I know more agents. Well, you just listed a lot of ways to find more agents, and I did a top 100 training. So if you just search top 100 in this group builders, you'll find a training on this. But his mindset was, well, I'm just going to focus on selling houses because I don't know a lot of agents. Well, when you started in real estate, how many people looking to buy and sell this year did you know? Like
none.
You had to go find them.
You go find them, yeah. And every deal that you do, AJ, you bring up a good point. You have a cross sell with someone, get through the repair request. And then when you're done through the repair request and you're just about a week or two from closing, go out to lunch, go to a cup of coffee, talk to that agent, show them the benefits of eXp. The big thing too, AJ, right? We always say we have to know the difference between, inviting an agent and also explaining the model, a difference between invitation and explanation. When you want to get together with an agent and build a relationship, do not just call them and say, hey, I want to tell you all about eXp. You're selling something. Don't do that. Build a relationship first.
Yeah.
Invite them to a lunch and learn without explaining the model. Invite them to a Zoom call without explaining the model. Just tell them the benefits are all visual. They have to see it. Invite them for coffee without even mentioning eXp. So it's really important, not only new agents, all agents, invite people to events, build relationships. Gene Frederick told me months ago, Bill, build a relationship, build a strong relationship. You'd rather have someone come over 6 months from now and stay forever than have someone come over next week and leave 6 months later.
Yep, exactly. It's so easy to grab coffee with somebody and just chat. Naturally, it's going to turn to business. Ask them about their company, and it's the law of reciprocity. They're going to ask you, how do you like your company? It's just the law of reciprocity. And then when they ask you, don't say, oh, I love all these things and go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes about it. That's EXPing all over them, and it's not going to work out well for you. But say, well, actually, I'm so excited about, love it. There's multiple streams of income that I can now earn as an agent. We actually have a lunch and learn this Thursday. So lunch is on me. I'd love for you to be my guest. Do you think 12 o'clock Thursday would work for you?
That's a great point.
Or hey, there's a video I can send you. If I sent it to you, would you watch it? So
and then follow up, right, AJ? We always have to follow up, and that's where a lot of us drop the ball. If you call someone up and you invite them to watch a Zoom call, you better be on that Zoom call with them.
Yeah.
You have to put in the time too. And then after the Zoom call, you call them right away and say, listen, you probably have a bunch of different questions. Do you have any questions right now? And if they say, no, right now, I don't, then send them another video. Say, listen, here's another short video. Watch this again tomorrow. I'm sure you'll come up with more questions. How about I call you at 2 o'clock tomorrow?
Yep.
So you're already setting another date to talk to them the next day. You got to keep them engaged.
Yep, 100%. So we got a lot of people here live, Bill. A lot of people are saying hello. So thanks for everyone for being on. If you guys have questions, go ahead and put that in the comments. But I wanted to expand on what you just said, Bill, about follow-up, because I know, just like you do, that's, the fortunes in the follow-up. Out of all the people that you've sponsored, what would you say, first contact, are they open to taking a look at the model? Once they do look at the model, do they sign right up? How many initial contacts or how many contacts might it take for somebody to actually get them to look at the presentation? And then once they do, is it right away, or is it months, or in some cases a year where they sign up? Talk about that.
I would say first contact, invite them out for coffee or to watch, be part of a Zoom call or to lunch and learn. Then it's a follow-up the next day. Then it's usually a meeting face-to-face a week later. Then if they're on board and they want to switch over, then it's a matter of them taking about 2 weeks to get everything in line. They have to fill out the paperwork. So I would say from contact to over, you're looking at 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my experience. I don't know what your experience is. Sometimes it's quick. Susan McCain, that night, I met her in the afternoon. She signed up that night. Okay, she filled that application. And then there's other people that, I had a real good friend of mine, where I ran into her. She put up the hand. She's like, don't tell me about eXp. I know all about it. Well, a year later, she called me, and she joined. So it varies. But on average, I would say from first contact to bring them to a lunch and learn, meet them with coffee afterwards, or send them a Zoom call, then have your own private conversation or Zoom call. I think by the time they're onboarded, you're 3 to 4 weeks. That's just my experience.
Yep. Yeah. And I agree with that on average for sure. And some people it takes over a year, like you just said. So you can never count people out. It's you follow up with them until they leave real estate completely or they die. Like there should always be a relationship that you maintain and that you follow up with.
And always keep it positive. Don't be like, oh, this is your loss. Goodbye. Don't ever do that.
Right.
A lot of times timing isn't right for some people. Like the one agent I just talked about, she came over with a team of 5. Yeah. There's another agent that was building a house, and she's like, Bill, when my house is done, we'll sit down. It was a year later, okay? And I was like, my God, I thought she was just blowing me off. Well, I actually went to her house, and she built this 8,000 square foot house, custom home. Well, now I realize she was just busy building a house, and she came over with 4 or 5 agents. So, that's about 10 agents, and they're all cappers. So figure out the money, that was well worth the wait.
Yep, I agree. One question we have here from Anthony, he's just asking about converting agents via Facebook over to eXp. So Anthony, it's going to be the same thing that we're talking about. It's building relationships through social media and then sharing the opportunity. So, and we can do a complete training call on that at some point. So we'll plan on doing that. But it's just about building relationships. Social media is called social media to be social on it. So it's about building relationships through Facebook Messenger. Definitely not spamming them. It doesn't work and it's not condoned by the company, but building relationships through Facebook is. So you can do that.
Yeah. And AJ, if I can comment on that, do not mass email, do not mass text, do not cold call. Those are, to me, the worst practices you could do. Build a relationship first.
Yeah. There's just so many simple ways to build a relationship. So it doesn't have to be cold calling, and it doesn't have to be a relationship where like this becomes your friend, but you can simply build a relationship through LinkedIn, through the LinkedIn Messenger system over a course of a few days or a week, and then get on the phone with them. So it doesn't have to be, this huge long-term relationship building exercise. But you want to start with that for sure.
Sure.
Cool. Well, any parting words of advice, Bill, that you would give to an agent looking to crush this agent attraction thing?
Yeah. So I would write down your goals, like how many people you want to be in front of, say, in the next year, and then break it down by the month. But then you have to have a path. How are you going to do that? Is it going to be all social media? Is it going to be a list, which you should create, of all the agents and start calling those agents? So I would start with a list. Say you have 50 warm and fuzzy agents that kind of know you. Call 5 agents a week and have a goal to have, and when you call, do not leave a voicemail. Actually have a conversation. If you get the voicemail, hang up, call back a day later. And then invite them to a Zoom, a lunch and learn, or a sit down with you, okay? So have that goal of trying to get 2 or 3 meetings set up every week. And you have to have a path how to do that. Is it going to be through the Zoom? Is it going to be through LinkedIn, social media, lunch and learns, face-to-face? So track your results. Do what works best for you. So now you have your goals. You have a path now, and just map it out for the year. And then just hold yourself accountable on a weekly basis of connecting with those 5 agents per week. However you do it, it's up to you, but just be accountable to it.
Love it. Great advice. We're going to end it on there. We wanted to keep it to a half hour, and that's what we did. So Bill, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, man. I just am so thankful for everything that you do for our group here, and just have loved getting to know you and becoming great friends over these last few years, man. So thanks again for all you do.
Absolutely, AJ, and everyone on your call, realize how lucky you are to have such a great mentor and coach in AJ in selling real estate and attracting agents. You got the best in the business.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. We'll
see you,
guys.
Bye-bye.